Hey everybody, Ben here doing a very exciting video right now. UPS literally just brought this to me. My long-awaited Grant and Gavin Hawk Model C. This is literally going to be the first time I'm opening and seeing this knife. Still got it in the box. Have not opened it yet. So I'm going to use another knife to open it up. My Spyderco Yojimbo box opener. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now I have owned literally the Model A and the Model B, and now I've got the Model C. So that's a cool little pouch. They've stepped it up a notch with those little dragon cut design pouch. Never seen that brand before. It looks like it's made in America. Cool. Got a little goodie pouch here. Just in case my lips get chapped while I'm talking. Little Gavin and Hawk, Grant and Gavin Hawk chapstick. Little utility tool here for my knife. And let's see what's inside this pouch. Oh my goodness. Very nice. Just the knife. Double check my box here just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. So that's it in the box. And wow. So Model C got some machining numbers and letters on the sides, just like usual. Deadlock 2021, G&G Hawk. Model C, patent number 20CV for the blade steel. You can make that out there. I'm really loving this handle design. Looks like carbon fiber inlay. That feels really good. Titanium switch as usual. Really nice. Grippy going this way, grippy pulling this way. Titanium grip clip like usual. Got a little relief under the clip where there's just the aluminum handle under the carbon fiber. So there's a little cutout there. I don't know if you can make that out. That's cool. So that the clip doesn't slap against the carbon fiber scaling or inlay there. And carbon fiber inlay here. Got a nice grip texture to it too. Never liked how it looked on the Model B and even the Model A, so I always had my scales requested inlay free. But I don't feel like it's a bad thing on this one. Woo! That's nice opening. Now, you might notice my Model C has a little something special here that you won't see on any of the early Model Cs. Single edge blade. And that's because by my request I sent in my Model B and basically got an upgrade to my Model C. In other words, Grant was kind enough to take the blade from my Model B, put it into a Model C handle. How cool is that, right? So, I've got something you don't have. Model C with a single edge. Oh, and still rock solid lockup, of course. I wouldn't expect anything less. Looks like they touched up my blade for me. Also, I mean, par for the course. Not surprised. Awesome. Had some wear and tear on the blade earlier before I sent it in. They buffed that out, looks like. Gotta love it. Loving how that sounds. Open and closing. Wow. Wow. I mean, honestly, I was skeptical. I'd seen some of the early teaser video content for the Model C, I'd seen Jim's, God, what's it, Skeleton's video. God, I love how that carbon fiber inlay feels. That is so nice. I'm sorry, I'm dragging this out a little bit. I've just got to. I mean, you just can't beat. This almost feels like shark skin. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I just love that texture on that carbon fiber. That is really nice. I'm gonna have to email them and ask them what kind that is. Wow. So yeah, this video, this is not gonna be one of those where like I just twirl the knife around, open and close it. Let's stop playing around. You know what you know what I want to do, right? So I've had some early correspondence. I have not seen the inside of one of these yet. Like on the other models of Gavin Hawk's knives, the Deadlocks, these screws on the switch side have always been basically no-go. You don't mess with these. As far as I know, it's still the same thing. Same deal on this design, the Model C. You don't need to mess with these on this side, the switch side of the handle. These are the only screws you mess with. The one under the clip, these four here to take the knife apart. I've already disengaged the blade, as you can see. Let's open this puppy up, man. I'm itching here. Right? This is what you want to see too. Let's see what's new about this knife. As before on the Model A and B, yep, that screw stays captured. Well, no. Oh, I don't think that screw's going to stay in there under the clip. Let's see. I'd hate to scratch the handle up. I've just flipped it around all over the place. Well, technical errors, technical difficulties, stand by. I'd hate to drop the screw. Let's see. I'm usually pretty mechanically inclined here. Okay, anyway, come back to you, screw. Let's carry on. I'm going to go ahead and get these other screws out. They've got a nice black finish on the screw heads. Nice little touch to match the anodized handle. And if you saw Jim Skelton's video, you know that these scales are now, instead of a titanium, the frame is no longer titanium. This is aircraft aluminum 7075 grade versus the 60, I believe it's 11, that most other companies like Microtech, for example, use. These screws look to be a little smaller, a little shorter than on the Model B. That's okay. My opinion. I'd really like for that screw to come out of there, because when I go to get the knife back together, anyway, let's lift this off. Okay, ooh, nice, wow. Okay, so under the scale, of course, we've got machined handle scale there. Very cool. As before on the Model B, the clip is screwed to the handle from the inside. Aha! My mechanical inclination is winning. Finally got that screw back in its little spot. My little 8-year-old girl has a snotty nose today. Sorry if you hear that in the background. So under that scale, you've got what you might find on the Model B, something similar anyway. We've got a strike plate like before. Very cool touch, addition, whatever you want to call it on this knife. The strike plate is bolted down. Look at that. 4 or 5 screws. I assume these are like quality control check numbers here. Number 5, number 8. These are also the same size screw as on the outside handle scale. They're a flat, unfinished head. Just gonna take them out one by one. And number 5. All coming out very easily, all very well fit into the stop or strike plate. And I'm just going to lift this up. Spring! Oh, just kidding. No, this isn't a Microtech or something where there's a compressed spring under there. So on the other side of the strike plate, nice big solid piece of quality steel here. Sorry, Yojimbo. Probably a little shy of an eighth of an inch thick, maybe a few millimeters thick there. Beautiful attention to detail like you'd expect from Gavin Hawk. Nice little machined shelf or angle there that coincides with the blade stop as usual. Looks like wow, little changes, little subtle, some big changes from what I'm seeing already inside. Even though 7075 is pretty badass aluminum, from what I've heard described, it's basically like the tempered steel of aluminum. Probably goofing that description. We've still got some steel inserts where, you know, you would want them to be, where they coincide with the little lock doodad there, the tic tac, whatever you want to call it. We've got a new stop plate or stop pin there. It's got 3 holes on it now. You can make that out. So in other words, there's a pin holding it in one of 3 positions. This is to increase the longevity of your knife, user wear and tear. I believe Gavin has said that each position on this blade stop pin is worth up to 80,000 cycles, open, close, 80,000 times. You can then lift this pin up, rotate it to the next hole, and you've got another 80,000 cycles. So 80,000 times 3. That's probably a few lifetimes worth of wear and tear on your knife. Carrying on with my observations. I'm going slow, I know it. Just suck it up. I've just moved the knife back to the locked rear position. Here you've got steel block here, which coincides. It's got a threaded hole. I'm just noticing that little steel block has a threaded hole, coincides with a hole on your strike plate. Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind. Interesting. Okay. What does that coincide with? I feel like there's something I'm missing. Maybe not. Okay. It looks like a threaded hole. Okay, curiouser and curiouser. Forgive my slowness here. This is the first time looking at this thing, like I said. Okay, I'm just trying to make observations. Of course, these are the threaded holes for the screws. I see. And so, this is what I was alluding to earlier. One of these screws is decorational. You're not going to mess with them anyway, like on the Model B, the screws on this side of the handle. One of these screws has a function. This screw coincides with a threaded hole here, holding this block of steel into the frame. Cool. So, I've got the blade in the rear lock position. I'm going to try and disengage it here. There we go. Unlocked it. Let's move the blade out of the handle. Pretty much everything else looks similar or the same as the Model B. Very little, maybe some subtle changes. My blade's been retrofitted. Looks like I can tell some changes there. Got a little moon clip back on the blade on the opposite side of the blade pin here to hold that in place and in turn hold the whole assembly in the blade. Nice touch, love it. I'm clumsy once in a while. I don't want to drop and lose something like that. Interesting. Got the slider plate like before with the spring assembly inside. There's some machine grease there I can make out. That's the white creamy looking stuff in the background. There and there. Like before, the switch is bolted through the slider plate. I'm seeing, yep, there's some more steel inserted into the frame, the machined aluminum. And bolted to, inserted and bolted to. Cool. And that doesn't really take any wear and tear from what I would see with my little bit of mechanical inclination as far as long-term wear and tear of the knife. There's a plate here. I don't know if you can make that out. It's got this angled cut. There's a screw here. There's a screw there. These screws are holding down a steel plate. I'm assuming it's steel. You can just barely make out a line there of separation between this plate and the handle scale. That's what that is. And that all holds the slider switch or plate in place, which carries, of course, the spring and the thrust blocks as before. Thrust blocks look a little different than before. They're more squared off on the ends versus rounded. Cool. There's a spring down here. I'm not really sure what the heck that is for. Interesting. I'm gonna have to send an email because I'm really genuinely curious. There's like a, you can't make it out in there. It almost looks like a clothespin kind of spring. I'm not going to mess with it. I almost said the F word, but little girl's in here. I'm very curious as to what in the world that spring is for because it doesn't make any logical sense at the moment. It doesn't interact with the slide plate. Doesn't have anything to do with a hook or a spring claw of any kind. There's a spring claw like usual up here in the front of the handle, which has its spring inside of it. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. There's a mystery spring in the Deadlock now. What the hell? That is so bizarre. I wonder if it's something to do with the new... Oh. I have a feeling in my non-technical mind it's got something to do with the D-lock, little D-lock bar there. Still got the same design on the lock mechanism from the Model B. Tried and true, trusted. Yeah, that pin, that spring, interacts with the D-lock now. That's interesting. I wonder if it's just some kind of stabilization improvement. Maybe it takes a little bit of the rearward thrust off of, because, I don't know, maybe it slows down some wear and tear. Because as you see there, when the blade hits its most rearward position, it's gonna bang against or slam against the aluminum back here, but being that the type of aluminum that it is, I'm not too worried about that. Plus the strike plate's going to take some of that abuse over time on the blade pin. I don't know, that's really interesting. What what the heck that spring is for. I'm definitely gonna have to email and ask. I'm really curious now. Anyway, enough rambling about the inside of the knife. Wow, I'm impressed as usual. I mean, the Model A was awesome. The Model B was a massive step forward, believe it or not, an improvement in the design. And now the Model C just takes it up, I don't know how many notches above the Model B. Honestly, I've heard people poo-pooing on the idea of switching away from titanium in the frame to machined aluminum. Why does it still cost so much? That kind of stuff. Well, you know, it's still an amazing knife. And yeah. I better slow down because I just noticed something I was not aware of. I'm going to make a quick observation here. I've got 4 shorter screws and 1 long screw holding this strike plate down. I'm going to take a quick look. Okay. Makes sense that the longer screw goes down here, I hope. Oh, God. I wish I'd been paying attention. Were you paying attention for me, viewers? I hope it goes down here. That makes logical sense. The one screw that's longer than the others. I very carefully turn it in. Hopefully it goes in all the way. Please go in all the way. No, it doesn't. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna have to find where this screw goes. Beep, technical difficulties. Maybe it goes at the front up here. Another reason why you never over torque screws when you're playing around with a knife. That's a short screw hole. Okay. What about you, sir? Do you take a long screw? Maybe I should say, ma'am. Can you handle a longer screw, ma'am? Please be it. Please be it. It's going. It's going. Yes. Okay. Interesting. So the one long screw, if you're watching, paying attention, and you ever take apart your Model C, goes toward or in. You've got your spring claw side, non-spring claw side. Long screw in the strike plate goes toward the front, non-spring claw hole side. And the other short screws go back in these holes. Well, no. What the heck just happened? Okay. I have a feeling this video is getting really long. Okay, weird. Long screw went in that hole. Okay, I was wrong. Long screw goes in spring claw side, or spring hook side. So now you know, if you're watching this, how to put your Model C back together. And as before on all the other Deadlocks I've owned, all the screw tolerances on the screw heads to the bit, they all fit very nicely. I'm just doing these finger tight because, again, I have a feeling these are steel screws going into aluminum screw threads, even though it's 70-75, almost like tempered aluminum, I'm still not going to over torque them. Okay, things look like they're lined up, which they, you know, duh, it's a deadlock. I wouldn't expect it to not be. I'll line my little screw back up in its little hole on the scale here. Negotiate with it. Come on, baby, go back in there. Come on. There we go. Okay. This scale's going back on. All of these screws are the same length. Okay. Now with these screws, they're screwing back into steel screw threads because they're going into the strike plate. I'm having technical issues again with this screw at the under the clip. It's jumped out of its hole. It's not wanting to go back under. I'm not going to make y'all wait for that. I'm just going to put these back in, and I'll tinker with it off camera and get it back in place. All right. I got you. Oh, come on. Seriously, I swear I keep getting so close to getting that screw in there. Anyway, let's get it back out. Works. Beautiful. Thanks for humoring me through my hair-raising moments there. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.